We are on 1 Samuel and 18. And it came to pass, when he had made an end of speaking unto Saul, that Saul of Jonathan was knitted with the soul of David, and Jonathan loved him as his own soul. And Saul took him that day, and would let him go no more home to his father's house. Then Jonathan and David made a covenant, because he loved him as his own soul. Then Jonathan and David made a covenant because he loved him. Okay, I'm sorry. And Jonathan stripped himself of the robe that was upon him, and gave it to David, and his garments, even his sword, and to his bow, and to his girdle. And David went out, wherefore Saul sent him, and behaved himself wisely. And Saul set him over the men of war, and he was accepted in the sight of all the people, and also in the sight of Saul's servants. And it came to pass, as they came, when David was returned from a slaughter of the Philistines, that the woman came out of all cities of Israel, singing and dancing, and met King Saul with tabrets, with joy, and with instruments of music. And the woman answered one another as they played, and said, Saul hath slain his 1,000, and David his 10,000. And Saul was very wroth, and the saying displeased him. And he said, They have ascribed unto David 10,000, and to me they have ascribed but thousands. And what can he have more but the kingdom? And Saul eyed David from that day forward. And it came to pass on the morrow, that the evil spirit from God came upon Saul, and he prophesied in the midst of the house. And David played with his hands, as in other times, and there was a javelin in Saul's hand. And Saul cast a javelin, for he said, I will smite David, even to the wall with it. And David avoided out of his presence twice. And Saul was afraid of David, because the Lord was with him, and was departed from Saul. Therefore Saul removed him from him, and made him his captain over 1,000. And he went out and came in before the people. And David behaved himself wisely in all his ways, and the Lord was with him. Wherefore, when Saul saw that he behaved himself very wisely, he was afraid of him. But all of Israel and Judah loved David, because he went out and came in before them. And Saul said to David, Behold, my elder daughter, Merab, her will I give thee to wife. Only be thou valiant for me, and fight in the Lord's battle. For Saul said, Let not mine hand be upon him, but let the hand of the Philistines be upon him. And David said to Saul, Who am I, and what is my life, or my family, my father's family in Israel, that I should be the son-in-law to a king? But it came to pass at the time when Merab, Saul's daughter, should have been given to David, that she was given to Adel the Mehoramite to wife. And Michal, Saul's daughter, loved David. And they told Saul, and the thing pleased him. And Saul said, I will give him her, that she may be a sword to him, and that the hand of the Philistines may be against him. Wherefore Saul said to David, Thou shalt this day be my son-in-law in the one of a twin. And Saul commanded his servants, saying, Commune with David secretly, and say, Behold, the king had delight in thee, and all his servants love thee. Now therefore be the king's son-in-law. And Saul's servants spoke those words in the ears of David, and David, seemeth it to you a light thing to be the king's son-in-law, seeing that I am a poor man, and lightly esteemed. And the servants of Saul told him, saying, On this manner David spoke David. And Saul said, This shall ye say to David, The king desireth not any dowry, but 100 foreskins of the Philistines, to be avenged of the king's enemies. But Saul thought it to make David fall by the hand of the Philistines. And when his servants told David these words, it pleased David well to be the king's son-in-law, and the days were not expired. Wherefore David arose and went, he and his men, and slew the Philistines 200 men. And David brought the foreskins, and they gave them in full tale to the king, that he might be the king's son-in-law. And Saul gave him Michal, his daughter, to wife. And Saul saw and knew that the Lord was with David, and that Saul's daughter loved him. But Saul was yet the more afraid of David, and Saul became David's enemy continually. Then the priests of the Philistines went forth, and it came to pass, after they went forth, that David behaved himself more wisely than all the servants of Saul, so that his name was much set. Alright, I'm going to try to read 19 as well. And Saul spoke to Jonathan his son, and to his servants, that they should kill David. But Jonathan, Saul's son, delighted much in David. And Jonathan told David, saying, Saul my father speaketh to kill thee. Now therefore I pray thee, take heed to thyself until the morning, and abide in a secret place, and hide thyself. And I will go out and stand beside my father in the field where thou art, and I will commune with my father of thee, and what I see that I will tell thee. And Jonathan spoke good of David unto Saul his father, and he said unto him, Let not the king sin against his servants against David, because he has not sinned against thee, and because his works have been to thee towards thee very good. And he did put his life in his hand, and slew the Philistines, and the Lord wrought a great salvation for Israel. Thou sawest it, and didst rejoice. Wherefore then wilt thou sin against the innocent blood to slay David without a cause? And Saul hearkened unto the voice of Jonathan, and Saul swore, As the Lord liveth, he shall not be slain. And Jonathan called David, and Jonathan showed him all these things. And Jonathan brought David to Saul, and he was in presence as in times past. And there was war again, and David went out and fought with the Philistines, and slew them with a great slaughter, and they fled from him. And the evil spirit from the Lord came upon Saul, as he sat in his house with his javelin in his hand, and David played with his hands. And Saul sought to smite David, even to the wall, with the javelin. But he slipped away out of Saul's presence, and he smote the javelin in the wall. And David fled and escaped that night. Saul also sent messengers to David's house to watch him, and to slay him in the morning. And Michal, David's wife, told him, saying, If thou save not thy life tonight, tomorrow thou shalt be slain. So Michal let David down through a window, and he went and fled and escaped. And Michal took an image and laid it in the bed, and put a pillow of goat's hair for his bolster, and covered it with a cloth. And when Saul sent messengers to take David, she said, He is sick. And Saul sent the messengers again to see David, saying, Bring him up to meet me in the bed, that I may slay him. And when the messengers were come in, behold, there was an image in the bed, and a pillow of goat's hair for his bolster. And Saul said unto Michal, Why hast thou deceived me so, and sent away my enemy, that he is escaped? And Michal answered Saul, He said to me, Let me go. Why should I kill thee? So David fled and escaped, and came to Samuel to Ramah, and told him all that Saul had done to him. And him and Samuel went and dwelt in Naioth. And it was told Saul, saying, Behold, David is at Naioth in Ramah. And Saul sent messengers to take David. And when they saw that the company of the prophets prophesying, and Samuel standing as anointed over them, the Spirit of God was upon the messenger of Saul, and they also prophesied. And when it was told Saul, he sent over messengers, and they prophesied likewise. And Saul sent messengers again to the third time, and they prophesied also. Alright, I want you to look at this word prophesied, and in the context that's in. When something is going on, say like that stuff was, he's wanting to kill him, and they're also standing around talking about it. Think of prophecy as this type of prophecy, as people saying, well, this could happen and this could happen. Okay, then went he also to Ramah, and came to a great well that is in Shechoh, and he asked and said, Where are Samuel and David? And one said, Behold, they be at Naioth in Ramah. And he went thither to Naioth and Ramah, and the Spirit of God was upon him also. And he went on and prophesied until he came to Naioth in Ramah. And he stripped off his clothes also, and prophesied before Samuel in like manner, and laid down naked all that day and all that night. Wherefore they say, Is Saul also among the prophets? Alright, we're on 20, and I'm going to work on it tomorrow night. So, I'm sorry I messed up that couple of times, but my throat's still bothering me, and all, as you can tell. So I will see you tomorrow, or let you hear me tomorrow.